Hope you're ready to hop to it, because today on the Toku Professor, we're covering the complete history of Lunatyx. No, not that kind of Lunatyx! Okay, there we go. We'll be bounding through this monster's entire behind-the-scenes and in-universe history, and even discussing merchandise at the end. Let's get into it, peeps. Happy Easter to all you students, and thanks for dropping in. Well, they say there's some kind of Easter bunny that shows up around this time and hides eggs. But as a Toku professor, the only rabbit I really care it all about is the magma-slurping monster Lunatyx that first appeared in episode 28 of Ultraman Ace. Let us cover him right away, and not make any more not-so-bunny puns. Let's begin with a list of those responsible for putting the lunacy in Lunatyx. The monster was designed by Akihiko Iguchi, and the monster's debut episode was written by Toshiro Ishido, and directed by Eizo Yamagiwa, with the special effects handled by Kazuo Sagawa. Toru Kawai was the suit actor. The Choju was reportedly based on a rabbit from a Japanese folktale who wished to jump to the moon, not to be confused with the cow who jumped over the moon. At least some of Lunatic's roars were reused sounds produced by Toho's Frankenstein, but slowed down. His name, of course, comes from the English word lunatic, a word for a crazy person, which itself comes from luna for moon. Episode 28, which was released on October 13th, 1972, was not only Lunatic's debut, it was also the episode in which Tsuburaya Productions went through with their decision to hastily write one of the protagonists of the series off the show, namely Yuko Minami, one of the two humans who could transform into Ultraman Ace. This context will be helpful as we move forward into the in-universe history of Lunatyx. Our favorite 58-meter, 63,000-ton rabbit Choju was stated to be the kaiju responsible for turning the moon into a barren wasteland, because long ago he apparently ate all of the magma within the moon's crust and killed off almost every member of an ancient lunar civilization, of which Yuko was a surviving member. Then, Lunatyx somehow ventured down to Earth, and Yuko followed the bunny to destroy him before the same thing could happen to our home planet. But I guess it took her thousands and thousands of years to figure out how to do it, until eventually she became capable of transforming with Seiji Hokuto into Ultraman Ace. Meanwhile, I suppose Lunatyx just lapped up all the magma he could eat, but began coming to the surface every October during the full moon, probably to gaze back at his home. And this year, Lunatyx surfacing would cause a massive disruption. A volcano north of Kameyama erupted, and the region was thrown into chaos. The monster comically hopped through a village, spewing dangerous 750-degree Fahrenheit steam. As the monster stared up at the moon, Tak arrived to battle the Choju, and began pummeling it with missiles. But the monster had the perfect move to counter their barrage. A highly unusual move, might I add. The creature began firing out eyeballs from his eye sockets and knocked one of Tak's vessels right out of the sky. I guess we could say Lunatyx had an eye for battle. Then he burrowed away deep underground, having satisfied his yearly yearning for a glimpse of the moon, and began slurping up a river of magma. Meanwhile, seismic activity continued to occur on the surface. It was at this time that Seiji and Yuko reached that vicinity, and the former convinced the latter it was time to transform into Ultraman Ace. The hero spun rapidly and bored into the Earth's crust to battle Lunatyx down in Hollow Earth. In a magma-filled cavern. The bunny was quite upset with his feast being interrupted, and tried to shove Ace into the magma, but the hero broke free and began battering the rabbit as hard as he could. Lunatyx broke free after getting another sip of magma to power himself up, and then launched a stream of flames from his mouth at the Ultraman, followed by several explosive eyeballs. Then the Choju returned to the surface, causing another eruption. Ace pursued him, and the brawl continued, with both sides exchanging blows. Lunatyx then went back to his ranged attacks, and Ace's color timer began to blink. The rabbit next reused his burning steam and tried to hide from Ultraman Ace, but the hero was able to locate the Choju and tossed him into a flaming pit. I don't quite understand why, since Lunatyx is a monster that can breathe fire and eat magma, but these flames proved to be too much for the bunny, and the rabbit burned away, leaving Seiji and Yuko victorious. And now that her goal had finally been accomplished, Yuko returned to space, leaving her Ultra Ring in the care of Seiji. This would be the rabbit monster's only appearance until 2007, when the Ultraman Mebius series revived the monster for an episode that would serve as a tribute to Ultraman Ace. Let's cover that next. This time around, suit actor Kazunori Yoku was the one who got to play the hippity-hopping monster. And these two fine folks brought us the episode. Of course, by this point a new suit was definitely needed, particularly considering the last one seems to have been burned up, so a nice sleek new one was used. The Choju made some new noises in this series, which may have started as Armstrong cries, as well as a roar produced by a T-Rex from the land unknown. Let's see what Lunatyx was up to in his grand return. While Ultraman Mebius was occupied elsewhere, the Guy's team was busy trying to destroy a mysterious pillar that had created some kind of dangerous suppression field on the surface of the moon. In response to their attack, their target let loose a blast of electricity, which awakened a Lunatyx, who burst out to challenge Guys and defend the pillar. The Choju fired some of the deadly steam, except sources say it was actually poison gas this time, so we'll go with what they say, as well as little blasts of CGI fire, instead of a long stream like before. But by splitting up, Guys was able to lead the bunny away and disable the suppression field anyway, with the help of some advice from Seiji Hokuto, who was aware of what was going on. Then, Seiji decided it was time to get involved and take down the Choju again, as Ultraman Ace. Lunatyx was able to put up a pretty good fight, even getting to reuse his eye-firing ability, but since Ace had assistance from Guys, and because of the fact that this was an Ace tribute episode, the tough rabbit really stood no chance. Ultraman Ace was able to destroy the rabbit with his Metallium Ray. Interestingly, in contrast to how Lunatic's first appearance heralded Yuko's departure from Seiji, at the end of this episode, the two protagonists of Ultraman Ace got to reunite. But that all came after our favorite bunny had been defeated, so let's move on to his next appearance in episode 10 of Ultra Galaxy Mega Monster Battle. Once again being played by a different suit actor, Lunatyx was most likely brought back for this series because they now had a lovely suit they could use. The monster was loitering around the Grand Cape supply base on planet Boris with Nova and Saramandora, aka Salamander, which meant Zap Spacey couldn't retrieve much needed supplies from there, unless Ray and his Gamora could take down the three monsters. Gamora quickly obliterated Nova and moved on to the others. Lunatyx tried to hit Gamora with a jumping slam, but the horned kaiju was able to roll away and began beating the rabbit up. But it wouldn't be Gamora who had finished the Choju off. A King Joe Black snuck up from behind and destroyed both Lunatyx and his battle partner. Lunatyx next appeared in Mega Monster Battle Ultra Galaxy Legends the movie, in which he fought as part of the 100 Monster Army, but was soon destroyed by friendly fire. He was present in several episodes of the spin-off Ultra Zone show, and appeared as a Spark Doll in Ultraman Ginga, and yet they've still not released a real Ultra Monster series figure of him yet. What's up with that, Doc? Ultra Fight Victory from 2015 was Lunatic's last major appearance, and I suspect this is because his Ultraman Mebius suit was retired following this. In this short series, Lunatyx was summoned by Yapul to destroy Ultraman Ginga, but Sho, who was busy fighting Victory Killer, was able to come to Ginga's aid by using a Spark Doll to summon Shepherdon to take on the bunny. Lunatyx ended up coming a hair short, and Shepherdon finished him with his Victorium Flash attack. And sadly, after that point, Lunatyx seems to have faded out of existence. There was an Ultraman X cyber card of the Choju, but he's never shown up in the flesh again. However, we haven't reached the Hoppy ending yet because he's made some minor appearances in other media, and there are Lunatyx toys out there too. We'll cover the former first. Lunatyx was featured in at least one stage show in which he was eventually defeated by Iron, and in 2 known manga. He was also a common card in the mobile game Ultraman Galaxy. And as far as I'm aware, feel free to comment if I missed something, aside from a few appearances to promote Ultra Galaxy Legends the movie, I think that covers all the times he's shown up. Now for some toys. I'm baffled that Bandai hasn't released an Ultra Monster series or Ultra Monster 500 figure of Lunatyx, especially considering how commonly he was appearing for a while after Mebius. If you need to have a Lunatyx figure for your collection, there are other options, but nothing cheap, unfortunately. Come on, Bandai, let's step up the game now. And with that, our Easter special is oh, well wait, hold on. I still have to see who won our little class Easter egg hunt. How many eggs did you find, Pencil Leopard?
12 eggs exactly, Professor. I'm gonna win.
Now wait a minute. It looks like Kishimu-kun found 12 too.
So, what does that mean?
Well, there's only one egg you kids didn't find. A special yellow and black egg. Whichever one finds it first is our winner.
Ah, I've got this in the bag. Oh, I think not. 'cause I was paying attention to the professor's class, so I know how to find it first. Watch this. Ha 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 ha!
What? No way!
Yes, I win! Wait, it feels like something's inside this egg. Huh? Ah!